This video is sponsored by PCBWay. Hello everyone! Today I've got for you a brand new version 2 of my Persephone Classic controller, a do-it-yourself 6 degrees of freedom SteamVR controller. Let's start with the PCB unboxing. As always, I've ordered the PCBs from the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. This time the package was pretty big, since I've ordered many boards for various projects. This time I've even got a couple of stickers, which are always appreciated. For this build I will need two boards. First up is the main PCB. This one will house all of the most important components. Of course we can't forget about the button board. This one is mainly for the face buttons and joystick. Just like always, the build quality of the boards is exceptionally good. The solder mask is very nicely done and you can see all of the traces very clearly. The shape is also perfectly cut, which can be rare with some of the manufacturers. Next up is the main controller board. This one is way more complex than button board and has a pretty wacky shape. I've ordered those boards with purple solder mask, and as you can see those are absolutely beautiful. I really like the color and it has a pretty nice contrast with the solder pads. Now let's assemble the boards. I will start with the main PCB first, since it has way more components on it. Of course I will start by covering all of the solder pads with flags. All of the components for this board will come directly from the previous version, since I don't want to throw out any of the parts. First I will desolder all of the components from the old board and then I will solder them back onto the new one. I like to place both boards side by side since it makes transferring the components way easier. And now I will simply transfer all of the components using my hot air station. After transferring all of the components, the only part left is the connector for the button board. Last time I didn't have a proper connector, so I've had to use a bunch of tiny wires. I can't really use the old components from the old button board, since the new one uses a different joystick and the tact switches can easily melt in the hot air station heat. So this time I will have to use brand new components. I've soldered the tact switches first, since those are pretty easy to solder. Unfortunately, I forgot to buy the connector for the joystick and I've left solder pads for the LED components by mistake. After soldering the buttons, I will now solder the FFC connector. This one is the exact same as on the main board and it will be used to connect both boards together. There's a bit of flux residue near the pins, but it will work fine. Since the target joystick module uses tiny FFC connector and I don't really have it, I will have to use a different version of this joystick which has regular pins. Footprint of the joystick itself is the exact same one as the target joystick, but I will have to connect all of the signal traces manually with tiny pieces of wire. And here are the both boards connected to each other. The idea is pretty simple and this type of configuration will work fine with the controller shape. I've printed all of my plastic parts out of white PLA using my Bamboo Lab printer. I will start the controller assembly with the battery installation, since it goes directly underneath the board. This small piece right here is the battery bracket. It will prevent the battery from falling out. It's being held in place with 3 self-tapping screws. Those drill directly into the plastic part. It should look more or less like this. After soldering the battery wires to the controller board, I will now simply flip it to the other side, and it's now ready to be secured using self-tapping screws. But first, to make things slightly easier for me, I will connect the button board before securing the main board into place. This connection is pretty tricky, since the FFC is quite short, but it's not too hard. After connecting the button board, I will put the button PCB in correct position and I will secure it in place using self-tapping screws. At this point I will be using only those 4 screws. So far everything went smoothly and it starts to look like a proper VR controller. I've connected the joystick directly to the FFC connector using couple of thinner wires. With all of this done, I can now focus on the bottom plastic part. First I will install the grip and trigger button, since those two go directly on the bottom of the shell. In order for the trigger to work, I will use a small piece of filament that will act as a simple hinge. First I will put the trigger inside the plastic housing, and now I will push the filament inside the slots on the side. And now I will slightly shorten the filament, since there's a bit too much of it. And now I will melt it down using my soldering iron. And now I have a fully assembled trigger. It can move freely inside the plastic housing and there's no way for it to fall out. Of course you will also need those small plastic brackets that will hold the tact switches in place slightly over the buttons. I've already have my tact switches prepared since I've used those in the previous version. The bracket assembly is pretty simple. You put the tact switchboard over the plastic pillars and then melt it down with the soldering iron to keep them in place. So first I will install the tact switch for the trigger button. The bracket goes to this spot right here and will be mounted using two self-tapping screws. And now the trigger is pretty much fully assembled. And now let's assemble the grip button. This part is basically the same as the trigger, but this time you don't need a piece of filament. The button simply goes into the hole and you just install the tact switch bracket on top of it. Of course, this one is secured with self-tapping screws as well. And now I'm ready to connect both switches to the main electronic board using solder pads on the sides. After everything is connected properly, I will now simply flip the board into the correct spot and secure it with self-tapping screws. And now I'm ready to close it up by connecting both pieces of the housing together. The controller is almost finished at this point. It should already be working, so you can connect it to your PC and upload the firmware. In the middle of recording this video, I've decided that the Vive tracker would be way too big for this controller and honestly it looks quite silly. So I've decided to buy the Tundra tracker and use that one instead. Tundra is a bit smaller than the Vive tracker, has nicer look to it and is slightly lighter. Since I was going to use a different tracker, I've had to redesign the top plastic part since it has a tracker mount. I've added a Tundra tracker bracket which uses two screws to attach directly to the device. Thankfully the screws come with the tracker, so there's basically zero chance to mess it up. And now I will basically have to swap out the top part with the new one. As you can see, it's basically the same plastic housing, but with a different tracker. I've also printed a brand new face buttons with the SteamVR icons on them. The button board cover had a slight redesign as well. I've used a dual color setup and now it looks way nicer than the first version. I've decided that since most of the parts are black, that I will reprint bottom parts as well. I've changed the button colors to gold and the lower body to black. As you can see, it looks way nicer now. So now let's grab a couple of self-tapping screws and assemble the button PCB cover. I will put the buttons into the plastic first, since it will be pretty much impossible after combining the cover with the rest of the controller. And now I will carefully combine both pieces together. I really like how it looks so far. I think it's much better looking than the first version. And just like that, the controller is now finished. Let's connect it to my PC and see how it works. So I've started the SteamVR and as you can see the controller is working. All of the buttons are working perfectly fine and it's currently being tracked with the lighthouses. As you can see, SteamVR thinks I'm using a regular HTC Vive controller. However, I think I've got a wrong tracker placement since some of the in-game items are not properly oriented. Of course the controller is still perfectly usable, but the tracker placement will have to be improved for the later revisions. Overall, I'm quite satisfied with the results and the tracking is now way nicer than in previous version which used glowing ping pong balls. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching everyone and hope to see you in the next video. And as always, huge thanks to my patrons. See you later and goodbye.